just have to wait a second for my special guest. All right, I'll take a bit of a video first. I can't really believe I'm here. I can prove to my girlfriend that I was here too. Okay, I'll introduce myself. How do I use this thing? How do I go to the next slide? Sweet. You may have seen him in Fred Kent's photos earlier today. So my name is Nick Broad. I founded the Busking Project because I used to live with a subway violinist. He's going to do that for 5 minutes. So, yeah. Yeah, I used to live with a subway violinist called Chen Kong, who had been a child prodigy back in China, but then Chairman Mao's Cultural Revolution came along, criminalized classical music, and he had to stop playing. So his bourgeois family was punished, and they became very poor. And at one moment, he was teaching people how to play the violin in secret in return for heads of cabbage. That's how poor they'd become. So to cut a long story short, he escaped to New York, got a full scholarship at Manners College of Music, and despite rave reviews, he decided that if he wanted somebody telling him what to play, he could go back to China for that level of control. So instead, he decided to become a street performer. For 18 years, Chen performed on the 57th Street F train subway stop. Every time I went to see him perform, I saw children dance, I saw people hold hands, I saw strangers making eye contact on the subway, which, as you know, is like a death wish in New York. You just never make eye contact in the subway. I've been offered fellatioed for doing that. You just wouldn't normally do it. But yeah, on that grimy subway platform, I discovered the transformative power of art. So I probably shouldn't have said that, my apologies. Chen was incredible, he was unique, and he was also fined by the New York City Police Department so often that he eventually had to leave New York to find a city that was more encouraging for him. So he escaped one tyranny for his art and then found himself a criminal in the land of the free. So this really got to me. So I looked into it and found that Chen was not alone. The criminalization of busking is a global problem. So in 2011, I traveled to 40 cities in 30 countries on 5 continents to film and interview street performers. And what we discovered was, of course, a distinct correlation between the way that buskers are treated and the quality of art that they produce. Where buskers are encouraged and tipped well, treated like artists, and made to feel like a part of the policy process, of course, the art is fantastic. Covent Garden, Pier 39, Jean-Marie Fenard, the Royal Mile, they're all incredible places to watch street shows. And where buskers are treated like criminals, of course, the art isn't very good. It's a complete no-brainer. But for some reason, authorities around the world believe that they can somehow improve the quality of art by making it harder to perform through licensing, auditions, and threats. This is in South Africa. That busker is blind, by the way. On our trip, we found an increasingly controlled landscape of anti-busking legislation with licensing fees, applications that have to be done in writing, one-day-a-year auditions where a council-appointed panel deems whether or not you're a fit and proper person, enough to perform for free on the streets, and a profusion of arbitrary restrictions, fines, equipment confiscations, and arrests. And yet, academics, by the way, that's Diego, who coincidentally is from Buenos Aires. And yet, academics, placemakers, urban planners increasingly consider street performance to be a viable way of revitalizing cities. After all, buskers don't require infrastructure, they don't require payment. It's nice. They're self-regulating if they're made to feel a part of the team. And they're far more engaging, dare I say it, than a bench or a bronze sculpture. As far as lighter, quicker, cheaper projects go, the busker is king. Just as an example, the Glastonbury Music Festival costs £22 million to put on. It entertains 175,000 people, wealthy people, at roughly £125 per head, which is why I think they charge £200 a ticket or something. The Royal Mile at the Edinburgh Fringe costs £150,000. It entertains over 1 million people every year at a price of 15 pence per head. That's 1/800th of the price. And yet, despite adding so much value to the Fringe, which brings in £88 million to the Edinburgh economy, buskers are not mentioned in their program. You can find them on their website, but they're not mentioned in the program. And so it's finally time to give buskers the benefits, recognition for the benefits they bring. So what I'm about to say may discredit me as an extremist, but I don't think that busking is just one way, but the most honorable way of making a living out of art. There's no PR, no cult of celebrity, no Facebook popularity contest, no entrance fees or service charges or security guards or fences, no clever lighting, no fancy billboards, no sponsorship deals, and definitely no product placements. No redefining the theoretical framework of coexisting interstitial relationships via nonlinear temporal works. I came up with that myself, thank you. Just an artist and his audience. So the Busking Project is a social network for street performers. We support, promote, and celebrate them, give them a way of earning cash in an increasingly cashless society, and we're trying to explain to authorities across the globe that busking is not a crime. We're helping young, talented artists get off unemployment benefits, get discovered, and avoid arrest. We've already had around 1,000 buskers sign up in 57 countries. And at the moment, we're not really providing them anything. They just know about us, and they know that this is a service that they want, they need, and they currently don't have access to. So our research, Vivian will talk about, and that's also wonderful. Vivian will talk about tomorrow. We do have a phone app, and we do festivals, documentary, and books. I can tell you about that later. And I was going to end with our mission and all of our future of places stuff. But instead, thanks to yesterday, I want to show you a little card that a street performer gave us yesterday while we were walking around town. And roughly translated, that says, this is by complete coincidence, I didn't know about this, "Music in the street is not a crime. The solo musicians, bands, and orchestras that play on the streets, plazas, subways, and buses, we are planning a law that protects us." So if you want to know more about that, we're planning a trip to meet local street performers from Buenos Aires tomorrow at 6 p.m., so you can come with us for that. We've basically, hopefully, not really sure yet, line them up along Lavache Street, and they will be answering questions and performing for your entertainment. And I'll just end by saying that the sterilization of our city centers has to stop. These performers are already in your city. Can't believe you're still doing that. Waiting to get involved in your projects, and they need your help. But thankfully, this is a highly visible, high impact, and highly entertaining field to work in. And I refer you to my, my next slide. Thank you very much. Hello. So I just finished. These artists are your on-the-ground placemakers. They are street performers. This is their job. So if you like their show, please take 10 or 20 pesos out of your wallets and give them the rest. Actually, give it to me, and I will distribute it, because the other guy, the windy guy, has gone home already. So I'll give it to him tomorrow. That's it. Thank you very much.